Hello everybody, it's Jeanette here from my Cottage Crafts, and today I'm going to be making a project for Beebeecraft with my design team package. There's a link in the description box below to the video that shows you what I received for this month. And I thought I would spend today, I've moved everything to the side, like my desk isn't tidy, but I've just shoved everything to the side there. And thought I'm going to make a little project. I've got some lovely things from Beebeecraft this month. One of the things I got was some fabric, and this is it here. And I went ahead and tea stained my fabric. Some of you may not agree with doing that sort of thing. I prefer the old look of things. And if you tea stain things, they always have a softer, older, almost, kind of really almost damaged look to them. But I really like that kind of look. And it's not for everybody, I agree. In the video where I show what I received, you will see these fabrics in their pristine form. They're beautiful fabrics. There's nothing wrong with them. I just prefer mine to be softer looking. So I went ahead and I tea stained them all. I'm trying to think where. So I got 2 packs, and so there should be 7 different fabrics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That looks like it. So we'll just take one out today. So these are the fabrics I'm going to be working with. And what I'm going to make is a zipper pouch storage, or zipper storage pouch. That sounds better. Let me write that down. Zippered storage pouch. Okay, and so I roughly drew what I want to do, and this is how I usually, if I'm like for Beebeecraft, I have to kind of plan what I want to make. And so I sat down this morning and decided that this is what I would like to make. So what I need is 2 larger outer pieces and 2 smaller inner pieces, and a piece of wadding of each of them. Now I'm thinking, because it's going to be like a little book that has zippers down each part, so it would be like 4 zippered pouches together, if that makes sense. So I kind of like the size of this. I think this is a good size for a zippered pouch. If you were traveling and you wanted to put things in, this is a good size because you can fit a decent size. Let me have a look. If you wanted to put a pair of scissors in, you could squeeze a large size scissors in something like that. So it's quite a generous size, but it's not too big. So what's that? A5 size, I guess. Plus I would have to allow for seam allowance. So let me just think for a minute. So I want that, which is, let's say, 5 3/4 inch. Need to write this down, don't I? Okay, so 5 3/4 inch, but it will be folded in half. So 5 3/4, okay, let's say 6 inches, 12 inches, 11.5 inches, plus a 1.5 inch center part. So what's that? 11.5, 12, 13 inches. So we're going to say 13 inches for the larger one by, we'll say 8 1/4 inches by 8 1/4 inches. That's for the outer one. The inner one will be, I need it a bit smaller, probably half an inch smaller. Thinking. Probably. Maybe we'll make it an inch smaller. So that one will be 12 inches by 8 1/4 inch. Okay. Now, if you're working in centimetres, that will be approximately 30 centimetres by 21 centimetres. So 30 by 21 centimetres. And the other will be 32.5 by 21 centimetres. Okay, so that will be our dimensions. Then there will need to be a piece of wadding for each of these pieces, and they will be cut slightly smaller, but not a lot smaller. So I need 2 for the out and 2 for the inner. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that because I don't have a rotary cutting mat or anything like that, so I have to sort of line it up and cut it. So I'll go and cut those sizes out, and then I'll show you what I've done. Okay, so just in case that was a bit confusing, here are the measurements. 2 pieces of fabric, 13.5 inches by 8 3/4 inches. 2 pieces of fabric, 12.5 inches by 8 3/4 inches, and that includes about 1/4 inch seam allowance. These are very loose measurements because you can make them whatever size you want. You know, I'm just making what I feel like making. If you want one bigger or smaller, then do it that way. I've also cut out 2 pieces of wool batting, and this is, one is slightly smaller than the other. So that to the side. Now I've got to think, how do I want to do this? I have to attach a zipper at each end. So these are the fabrics I chose. So that's the outside colour there, those 2, and this will be the inside pouch there. So I went with these 4 different fabrics. I thought they looked nice together. Okay, so we'll start with the inside one, I think. Oh, actually, no, we'll start with the outside one. Then I'll be able to gauge exactly, you know, well, pretty much exactly the size of the inside one. So what I want is, they're the right sides. So what I need to do is attach my zippers to each end. So I'll attach a zipper there and also one to this end here as well. Now I got some lovely zippers. Oh my goodness, I got some zippers from Beebeecraft. Rustle around in here and find my zippers. What I'm going to do is just attach the zippers on one side for the time being, I think, and that will be on the outside, but I'll also have to have my wadding as well for the outside. This is all just coming out of my head here. It's just, I have to think a little bit. Now, this is bigger, of course. That's the right one, isn't it? Yeah. Is it? It's that one. No, it's not. Oh, that's the inside. Okay, I've got the wrong. That's the inside one. I need the bigger one, the outside one. There we go. Oh, that looks a bit better. It's just cut a bit shorter than the actual fabric. See, it's just a little bit shorter than the fabric, and that way it won't be too bulky around the zipper. I'm hoping, because I will fold, you know, it over to attach my zipper like that, if that makes sense. Let's decide what colour zipper. And it can be any colour. I don't have to have, you know, it doesn't have to be, like, it doesn't have to match exactly. See, that's a pretty green. And these are like 25 centimetre zippers, so they're probably just the perfect size for this. I never even thought about that. There we go. They do look like just the right size. Okay, and there's a darker green there as well. Oh my goodness, they're in there so tight. Let's just loosen that a little bit, shall we? Okay, that might be better. Okay, so we could have a green at either end of that one, like that. And what other colours? There's a pink. Oh, here we go. Could have a pretty pink one as well. Or maybe a pink and a green on that one. And then a green. And is there another? There's a bright pink. Might work. Oh, that's a long one. Hang on, we need the brighter pink in a smaller. So many zippers. Oh, don't they have one? Oh, yes, they do. It's in that one there. Okay. And a brighter pink. Okay. I think we've got them all there. All sorts of colours. Okay. And of course you could cut the longer ones down for smaller projects as well. Have we got 4 zippers there? Yes, we have. Don't want to lose my fabric. Okay, let's have a look. So if I had that there and the darker one there, and then when I do the other one, oh, how's that going to work? The bright one, bright one. It doesn't really matter, you know. It doesn't really matter. I guess it depends what goes with the colour here. So that's the other one. That's the small. Is that the smaller? That's the smaller one. Maybe that one goes better with the smaller one. That one. Like that, I think. Okay, so we'll keep those ones for the smaller one. There. And we'll use these ones on the larger one like that. your zipper the right way around, making sure it works properly. That would be a smart thing to do. Okay, so how am I going to do this? Okay, so I've attached the zippers. I've just pinned them into place. These are invisible zippers, so it's easy to get confused which way they go, but the ridge is the wrong side. So you need the right sides of the zipper facing the right side of the fabric. So they are put together now. So that's the smaller one, and it fits inside the larger one like that. Right, now all you have to do now, we'll do the larger one, okay. You can either sew that on the sewing machine, just straight down, and then that will fold over like that, or you can hand stitch it. And I have hand stitched zippers on before when I made a project bag, and I was surprised how easy it was. It's incredibly easy just to hand stitch that on. You don't even have to do a back stitch or anything. You can just do a small running stitch. So I think that's what I will do, because it's easy enough to do. And as long as I'm, staying where I want to, it's easy enough to see as well. So just let me get a bit of thread that I want to use. Which one am I going to use? Okay. Now you can use just normal sewing machine thread, or I like to use a crochet thread. These are nice and strong. It's just I'm used to it from the slow stitching now. So I'm going to use that, and that's probably a good colour. You won't really see it. I better, oops, I think I've got some threaded already. Change my glasses or I won't be able to see where I'm sewing. Okay, we have a little bit left here. I'll start with that and show you. Okay. Put that a little bit too tight. That's better. And although I said 1/4 inch seam allowance, it can be bigger than that. A normal seam allowance is like 1.5 centimeters, I think. So, right. So I would like to see. I don't want to see too much of the zipper, but I don't want it right next to the teeth of the zipper either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out just a little bit, not a lot. Tough getting through that end part there, but it'll be all right. I'll just do a little back stitch there, and then we can go on our way. And I was inspired by Beck from So Be Creative. I think I watched a video of hers, and I think it may have been the first video I watched of hers, where she was doing a little zipper pouch. So although it's not the same as hers, the inspiration's still there. She's a lovely lady. A lot of you probably know her. I'll put a link to that in the description box below as well. So I'm just going to continue on like that, and I'll just show you. That you won't see that. And there's the center there. That will leave a nice little bit of pink to show. and so easy to do and enjoyable to do. You know, you can sit there and you don't have to be at your sewing machine if you don't want to be at your sewing machine. Because, you know, sometimes on a sewing machine, zippers are tricky to get in. So it can sometimes, especially invisible kind of zippers, although I'm not sewing it as such, it's just nice to be able to sit anywhere you want and have a little stitch, isn't it? So I'll go ahead and stitch all of these 4 zippers on to one side of the fabric only, and then I'll be back. And just a little reminder, when you get to the end, do undo the zipper a little way, just so you can keep it nice and even along here. Otherwise there'll be a bump, and you may sew crooked. So just undo your zipper a little bit so you can keep it nice and straight, and then you can re-zip it. There we go. So I'll go ahead and I will do the other zippers as well. I'm going to tie that off on the end as well. So, okay. So I'm just placing the batting, or wadding, on, and I'm flipping this over to the wrong side. I'm getting my piece and I'm placing it on there, and it kind of give it a tug so it fits. It's a cotton wadding, this one, so you know you can manipulate it just a little bit, and I don't mind if it's looking a bit long at all. So I'm just placing it there like that, and flipping it back over, evening it out nicely, and I'm going to put a few pins in it now, and I'm going to invisible baste it down, or invisible stitch it down in place. And that doesn't take too long to do. Put a movie on or a video on or something, or listen to some music while you're doing it. Doesn't take long at all. But it will just keep the batting where it's meant to be. And it will also help you to make it the right size. And it gives the fabric some substance, of course. So I've done the other one. Just let me show you. So this is the smaller one, and I've already basted it on. You can see the stitches. On this side you can't see them. They're only really tiny. But on this one you see the larger stitches there. I hope that's picking up. And I stitched all that on. And then when I had finished, I trimmed it at the end so I can fold it over just like that, and it won't be too bulky because I've only got the fabric there, and I can attach the lining to that. So you just make sure you put a nice base stitch really closely. That might be easier to see. There's the running stitch there, and see how close I've trimmed that, and my basting line is just at the end here, so it holds it all together really nicely. You can just see a couple of stitches there. So that's what I'm doing now. Once I've done this one, I'll be back. Maybe I'll show you exactly how I do that. So I've got it all invisible basted on, and I'm folding that up. I've got the zipper part, I'm folding it up so all the edges will meet on that side, And then I'm coming to this side and just probably about 1/4 of an inch under where the zipper folds, I'm doing my stitches there. So it's close enough that it will hold it, but far enough away that I can still trim it. And then once I've done that, I can finish it off on the back here. Like that. And then with a nice pair of sharp scissors, I'm just going to, and I can see my tacking line, okay, and all I need to do is get fairly close to that tacking line without getting the other bit, which isn't as hard as it kind of looks, and I can just do that and trim it all the way along without cutting the stitches or anything. So I'm bending that back right out of the way. Like that. So we've got that. And then when I fold that over, see how that tucks nicely under that zipper there? And so it won't be so bulky around the zipper. That's the only reason I'm doing it, because I don't want it too bulky around the zipper part there when I'm finished. Okay, so that's all the zippers stitched on now. And before I put it all together, of course, I'd like to do a little bit of decorating on these pouches. And when I got my design pack, I also got these beautiful, beautiful ribbons. Aren't they lovely? I got a couple more as well. A big leaf one and a red one. Now, I'm not sure the red one will go at all. The green one might go. And look at all these. Aren't they beautiful? I think they're just lovely. So what I might do now is, now I can also use, so that's the large one and that's the small one. I can also use offcuts from those on there as well. Where are they? Oh, this one. Okay, so like I could, because that'll go like that. So what's the inside? Okay. That piece there will be going like that. Okay, so if I'm wanting to decorate on here, I don't want to be using too much of that. I'd prefer to use a bit of this as well. So I can, what I'll do is I've got this here. So I can play with a bit of that. That one as well. So I can play with that one on that fabric there, and I can play with this one on this fabric here, and so that'll go around like that, I think. Is that right? Yes, that can go there, that can go there, that can go there. So on here I can use Just let me think. Got to use the same sort of thing, don't I think. I can use that. Bit of this. I can also use that. That'll be on the inside, that part. So that will be used on there as well. So in effect it will go more like, let's have a look. That. Okay, so this will be the front of the pouch. So then you'll have a zipper opening there. Will open. This will be decorated. And then this will be the second zipper pouch. And then that can be decorated as well. But also like that will be decorated, but that will be decorated as well. And so that will be the middle section, and you know, you could put a needle book or something like that there, I guess. And then this will open like that, and that will be like that will have a zipper, and then that will have a zipper there, and that will be the back like that. So I'm going to go off and, you know, have a little think, because that sort of thing takes quite a lot of time. I could also add some plain colours to that as well if I like. Oh, I've got a nice piece here, look. I could add some plain colours, maybe not that one, to that as well. The tea stained is nice, isn't it? And then add some ribbons and things like that, and some flowers, maybe some doily pieces can be added. There's a strip of the inside piece could be, you know, incorporated. I'm going to go away and have a play and come back and show you what I've done, and then we'll put it all together. Okay, so I'll be back when I've done that. Well, I am back, and that took a much longer time than I thought it would take. I have decorated the pieces, and I kept referring to this as the lining. I think it's not the lining, it's the other side. I will have to put a lining in it if I don't want to be seeing, you know, the stitching and things like that inside the little storage pouch. But that's how it's looking. That will be the cover. As you can see, I've used the lovely ribbons and some more going down here that I received, but I've also used other things from Beebeecraft that I've received as well. The lovely crocheted flowers and the flower trim that I've received at different times, and also this one is from Beebeecraft. I've patched pieces of the fabric on and just done a running stitch around them. It took a lot of stitching because all these little loops on the side of the lace there were hand stitched on. So there's a it doesn't look it, but there's a lot of hours of stitching in this. Okay, so the next stage is to open the zips up a little, about halfway, like that. Because now, no, we don't have to do that just yet. Okay, what we need to do is we need to stitch this to this. We need to stitch it to the zipper. I just want to make sure I've got this the right way around. I have. Okay, it's like that. So that will be the cover like that, and then this will go like that. So I need right sides together like that. That looks about right. Okay. Oh, I made all the little Suffolk puffs from the scraps as well. So now I need to attach this part to this part of the zipper here, and I'm going to do it in exactly the same way with a running stitch like I did before. And all I have to do is open it up like that and then get my fabric and evenly put it on top like that, just like that, and then that will be pinned. Actually, I probably need to do it that way. This will be pinned and stitched in just the same way as I did it before. And I will have to do this on both ends. Okay, let's have a look. It might be. I've got to be aware that there's a stripy fabric behind this, so I need to get it fairly even, otherwise it it will be quite obvious if it's not. So that will go like that, and then at this end the same sort of thing. Just get my fabric even like that. We'll go from that end, and where am I? Oh, there. Okay, so that kind of stretch it out just a little bit like that, and then I can put one in the center, and that should help. Okay, let's have a look. That looks about right. And now when you start stitching, so let me put one about there, like that. You've got to open that zipper up just a little bit so you can stitch it on, and then you can close the zipper back up. So like that. Yes, this ended up being a bigger project than what I was expecting, that's for sure. So once again, I'm using some white crochet thread for that. It's nice and strong. It takes up some time. So I'm going to try and get it the same distance as I got it on the as I did it on the other side there. And I'll just start off and give it a extra stitch at the end, like that. Take that out. I don't want my stitches too big, but I'm not worried about them being too, tiny. That's the beauty about just hand sewing them on with a running stitch. It'll, like, even if you get little gapes in it, it will stay. It will be strong. And it kind of adds to that look of slow stitching. And so far it's all been hand stitched. You don't have to do it that way, but I have. But I will be using the sewing machine in the next step. So I'm just going to go along and sew this on, keeping it straight. And I'll do the same thing at that end as well, and then I'll come back and show you. Okay, so that's done on both sides. There'll be some trimming up to be done. And also some like evening up, because we have to get it nice and straight. See, that one's probably needs a good trim. Okay, so now what I have to do is fold these ends together like that. Like that. And I'm going to put a seam going across here, so I'll just put a couple of pins in. I want to make sure that the fabric is laying nice and straight. Trim that a bit of batting off so it doesn't distract me. I think I need to put the pins on this side actually. It'll be easier to stitch. And as I stitch, that will go like that. They will close up like that. So, and I'll even that up once I'm done. It's a little bit because there's a bit of a bow in this fabric, I can see it's going to might make me go a bit crooked, so we'll get that off like that. That might be a bit better there, I think. Right. Okay, so I'm going to sew a straight stitch on the sewing machine all the way. I'm going to back stitch at the front on the beginning and back stitch again on the end. All right, I'll be back once I've done that. Actually, once I've done that, I'm going to do the exact same thing on this end, moving the zippers down about halfway, like that. And I'll do exactly the same thing on this side as well. And then I'll be back. Okay, that is done. And now what I want to do is just trim the corner a little bit. take some of that bulk out. I did put a mark where I wanted to sew it, just to make sure, because I've already done the other piece, to make sure they're fairly similar in size. Okay, looks about right. Okay, and now we can turn it through, and that's why we had to leave the zippers open. I mean, you could have just left one open, but it's okay to do two. Just grab the other end and pull it through like that. One end, you'll have to sort of get in there and push your zipper out, or use your little tool. They don't have to be pointy at all. They look quite nice, a little bit rounded. Okay, so let's hope this, I will have to give it a press. So this is the cover. Let's just zip it. It's got to have a lining yet. So just to get an idea of what we're looking like. Okay, so this is our that'll all tuck in once I put a lining in there. And all those little bits will be hidden like that. So that's our few little threads. Okay, let's press. That's that. And then the other side, which is the inside. Push that through as well. And that will go in there like that. It's smaller, so that when you fold it up like that, they all come out about the same. Oh, isn't that pretty? Like that. That will be the spine section. So that seems to work quite nicely. I'm very happy with that. I don't know whether to put a tie on it or something. I'm not sure. It's something I can add later, I guess. It seems to be quite nice. So now I have to make the lining to go in, and then I can just attach it all together. So to make the lining, I basically just need a tube. So I need to have a piece of fabric that is, okay, so that is, actually, I just need to have, okay, 8.5, 8.25, 16, 16.5, if we do it in one piece. So, like that. So that will be 13.5, and this will be 16.5, and that will be like a fold line. So we don't need it. We need 16 and let's say 1/4, because we need seam allowance on one side. And then we fold it in half and insert it in here. Fold the ends over, and stitch them to this, and then we'll have a nicely lined bag. So let me go find some fabric for that. I'll probably just do it in a plain white because it's easy to see inside of. Oh, that's that one. This one I think has to be a little bit longer. Oh no, this one has to be a bit shorter by an inch, I think it is. Yeah. So 12.5 and 13.5. So I need 2 pieces. I'll be back when I've found that. I have some white fabric here that I found thrifting. I've cut 2 pieces to the correct size. I've just marked on it small length, and that's just length, just so I know which way I need to be sewing these. So with the small length, I would go like that, and I will put my seam over here. And I'll just double check that that will be the right length. Yep. Yep. Because it just needs to be a bit narrower than the top one. So, like I just said, that's the length there of the book will close like that. So that's the length. So I'm putting 1 seam in it, 1/4 of an inch seam allowance at the top. I'm making a tube, and I will do the same for the larger one as well. Just going to put it on the machine and put a straight stitch all the way down. And I've back stitched on both ends. Now I don't need to turn it through at all to any right or wrong side. I just need to insert it in here, like that. And pull it through the other end, like that. And then more hand stitching will be taking place. I'm wondering whether I should have pressed these just like that, because that needs to be stitched like that. It might be a good idea to do that first. So I could even just finger press it. It just needs to come over like that, about that, and about that. Maybe a little bit more actually, like that. Like that. Yeah. Okay, like that. And I'll just, I think that will help it, and do the same on the other end. Like that. Better. Don't want it too big. There we go. Like that and that. I think that will work a bit better. So let me just push that through. Like that. Like that. I'm just lining the fold up with that end part there, and then that will be stitched like that. So I'll put a couple of pins in, and just a slip stitch will be fine for this. All those threads down. Anything that can get in the teeth of your zipper needs to be tucked in. You don't want your zipper getting clogged up with threads and things like that when you're opening and closing it. And then that, when I do it, if I take it a bit further, I will be able to open that and sort of stitch it in with some stitches going in like that as well. Like that. Get a small one for in there. Oh, where's the small one? I've got all my, there we go. There we go. So that, like that. And then, see how neat that will be? And then that will, once it's all, it will zip up all the way to the end, but of course there's bits in the way at the moment. And I will do the same for this side here, and the same for the other piece as well. I've been using all the threads from Beebeecraft also. I might use a light. Have I got one? Okay. Which have been wonderful for all the different colours. Like these, you know, I use the green here for the green and the yellow for the yellow, so it all worked out very nicely. So I'll put a link to that in the description box below as well, because that's very useful just for a little bit of hand sewing here and there. So we'll start it down here. I just want to get a good stitch to get it started. I hope I've been under the camera there. There we go, the first stitch is in. So we take a bit of the zipper and a little bit of the lining. The white is the lining. And we pull like that. I'll take that pin out now so it's not in my way. And then lay it nice and flat, and if I bring it down just a little bit, I'll just take it where that stitch line is there. See this little white thread from the stitch line, and hopefully we don't see it through the other side, but it's not, it won't be too close to the zipper, so it gets stuck in the zipper. We don't want that. I think I'm going to have to change my needle, this needle. Although it's a good needle, it's not going through the zipper because it's a nylon zipper and it needs to be a bit finer, I think. Oh, that seems better, I'm sure. Okay, that seems better. I'm just taking it like that, where that first row of stitching is. And that should be fine. That'll also catch any gaping, I hope, at the other side from the bigger stitches. Although these aren't particularly tiny stitches. Probably I'm taking two of these stitches to one of the ones that I did on the running stitch at least. So I will go ahead and stitch all the linings on, and then we can come back and put it all together. Okay. Okay, so that's all done, and all I have to do now is stitch the inside piece to the outside piece. I've been trying to have a little think about the best way to do this. Oh my, because it's quite thick. So I'm just going to see if I can hold things into place. Trying to get it as, as even as I can. I know that gold strip there is the center, and I know this side of the embroidery is the center, which helps. I was going to do like a gusset in the middle, but I think I'd prefer to have the room in the pockets rather than a thick gusset. So I'm just going to have it one stitch. I think that's it. Okay, now, trying to think the best way to do this. I'll have to be able to get in there, so maybe I can't have that on that side, but I'll put another one like to hold it on that side so it doesn't move around too much. Where will we hide that? I think we will hide it about in here, maybe like in there. Okay, so oh, it's going to be tough on my fingers. Okay. I hope this works. So what I'm going to do is I've got a white thread. This is the white background. I'm going to do it like that. And I'm going to have to flip it over and make sure that it's, coming out where I want it to come out on this side. So a bit of a slow process. I'm not making the stitches too small, probably, well, you'll see in a minute. Well, see, we don't want any loops. See, I need to come out there now, so we need quite a big stitch. And I'm not too worried about seeing it in the center. That's why I'm using white, so I can disguise it more on the front. Like that. That looks, I feel like I'm giving a bit off there. I hope that's going to be all right. Oh, I don't really like that very much. See that? Oh, but it'll be fine. I'm leaving it. Okay, I just need to, got a bit of a loop on this side, so I need to pull that through. Okay. Alright, so I will continue on with that. I'll continue on with that and see how it looks, and I'll show you once I'm done. It's all done. Yay! That was a much bigger job than I expected it to be, but it's finished and I'm very happy. My fingers are a bit sore. So that's the front of the storage pouch, using all the fabrics from Beebeecraft. I've used the zippers from Beebeecraft. I've also used all the flowers from Beebeecraft. These, of course, are just offcuts of the fabrics. I have tea stained the fabrics, so they are actually a little bit brighter when they're brand new. These, oh no, they're tea stained pieces as well. I have used the ribbon, and the mini ribbons, all the little mini ribbons I've used as well. And the larger one of the larger ones, you can see that stitching right down the center there, but it blends in nicely. It's not obvious. That is the back. I love all these little tiny ribbons. I think they're just beautiful. And so I made a couple of little ties to close it. And I did have to attach them to the front and back because I couldn't put it inside because I'd already stitched it. So if you're going to make one, be sure to attach these to the front and back before you put your zipper in. So that opens up like that. Of course, this is a zipper pouch where you can store bits and pieces. The zippers open all the way down. That is the inside there. And there. I've used the same components all the way through. I like that consistency. I think it works well. But some really nice colours. I did put a little bit of rickrack in the centre there, just because the line of stitching, it looked odd. But at least with a bit of rickrack there, it doesn't stand out quite so much. I can still see it, but I'm not worried about it at all. You could put buttons on this or anything, but it's a storage pouch, you know. There's the other side there. And of course the front and back pockets are made a little bit bigger so that when you have things inside, well, I mean, even when you're doing that, see how they all meet nicely now. But of course, this will get more like that once it has things inside of it. So that's the back there, and then the back page there. Is that? Yeah, it does line up. It does. Trust me, it does. Not undoing it if it doesn't. So I'm very pleased with it. Like I said, it did take considerably longer than what I expected it to take, but still a very fun project to make. Hopefully I've given you some ideas if you're looking for storage ideas, and something like this would be a nice little gift for somebody, or if you attend workshops and things like that, something like this would be ideal to keep all your bits and pieces in when you're going away traveling or at workshops and things like that. You can, like a pair of scissors, I'm sure will fit in here. Let's undo it again, shall we, and see if a pair of scissors. I hope so, because that's what I thought about it. Something like that will fit in there, no problem whatsoever. And of course, all your little scissors fit in there fine as well. Here's a large pair, but it's not as large. That might fit in there. Just. I would be able to fit those in there. Whoops. it back in like that. So yeah, so there we go. You can fit, what size is that? But you could make them any size you want, obviously. That is an 8-inch pair of scissors. So there we go, all zipped up, all tied in a bow. I think it looks very pretty. So take care, everybody. Bye.